Ever felt like you were the underdog? The one everyone counted out? Imagine walking into a room full of the world's best, only to be met with laughter and disbelief. That's exactly what happened to a group of Malaysian reporters. But this story isn't about being laughed at. It's about what happens next. It's a story of how one of them rose from obscurity to snatch one of the most prestigious awards in journalism, leaving the entire world stunned. This is the incredible true story of how a Malaysian reporter, armed with nothing but grit and a burning desire for the truth, proved everyone wrong. Picture this. It's a major international press conference. Reporters from global giants like the BBC, CNN, and Reuters are all there. Sharp suits, expensive gear, and years of experience radiating from them. Then, a team from Malaysia walks in. The air changes. There are whispers, smirks, and even outright chuckles. Malaysia. What are they doing here? The sentiment was clear. They were seen as small-time players in a big-league game. This wasn't just a one-off incident. For years, this was the reality for many journalists from developing nations. They were constantly fighting for a seat at the table, struggling to be taken seriously on the global stage. The world of international journalism is incredibly competitive. It's a high-stakes environment where reputation is everything. Newsrooms from established Western media outlets have massive budgets, global networks, and a long history of breaking major stories. They set the agenda. For a reporter from a smaller, less-known publication in Southeast Asia, just getting access can be a monumental challenge. They face language barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and a persistent, unspoken bias that their work is somehow less significant. It's an uphill battle every single day just to have their questions heard, let alone answered. But in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, a small, dedicated team was quietly doing groundbreaking work. They weren't just covering local news. They were piecing together a puzzle of global significance. This wasn't just any story. 'Twas a sprawling, complex web of financial corruption that stretched across continents, involving powerful figures, shell companies, and billions of dollars of public money. The investigation was codenamed Project Dolphin, a nod to the luxury yacht at the center of the scandal. The team was led by a reporter who possessed an unwavering commitment to the truth. Let's call her Rina. Rina and her team at The Edge Malaysia started with a single thread: a suspicious transaction, a leaked document. Day after day, night after night, they chased leads that others had dismissed. They spent countless hours poring over financial records, cross-referencing data, and connecting dots that seemed miles apart. They flew to different countries, often on a shoestring budget, to meet with sources who were too afraid to speak on the record. It was dangerous, painstaking work. They faced intimidation, legal threats, and immense pressure from powerful people who wanted this story to stay buried forever. While larger news outlets were chasing headlines, this Malaysian team was digging for the bedrock of truth. Their investigation centered on the One Malaysia Development Berhad scandal, or 1MDB. It was a story of staggering greed and corruption on an unprecedented scale. Billions of dollars meant for national development had allegedly been siphoned off into private accounts, funding a lavish lifestyle of yachts, private jets, Hollywood movies, and priceless art. The story was so audacious, so unbelievable, that many at first refused to believe it. But Rina and her team kept digging, meticulously building their case, piece by piece, document by document. They weren't just reporting. They were conducting a forensic financial investigation that would rival the work of any law enforcement agency. Then came the moment of truth. They published their findings. The initial series of articles sent shockwaves through Malaysia, but the international community was slow to catch on. Some dismissed it as local politics. This is where the initial skepticism from international newsrooms came into play. But the evidence was too compelling to ignore. The Malaysian team's reporting was so thorough, so detailed, and so irrefutable that it couldn't be swept under the rug. Slowly but surely, major global publications like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times began to pick up the story, often building on the foundational work done by the Malaysian team. The whispers of laughter turned into murmurs of respect. The impact was seismic. The 1MDB scandal became one of the biggest financial stories of the decade. It led to investigations in over 10 countries, including the United States, Switzerland, and Singapore. It triggered the downfall of a government, led to high-profile arrests, and resulted in the seizure of billions of dollars in assets. And it all started with that small, underestimated team in Kuala Lumpur. They had not only broken a massive story, but it also set a new standard for investigative journalism in the region. They showed the world that you don't need a massive budget or a famous brand name to uncover the truth. You need courage, persistence, and an unshakable belief in the power of journalism. This brings us to the climax of our story: the annual award ceremony for the Society of Publishers in Asia, or SOPA. It's the Pulitzer Prize of Asian journalism. All the big names were there, nominated for their work. And among them, the small team from The Edge Malaysia. When the award for excellence in investigative reporting was announced, the room fell silent. The winner was The Edge Malaysia for their 1MDB coverage. But the night wasn't over. The final, most prestigious award was the Journalist of the Year. This award recognizes an individual whose work has had the most significant impact. The presenter walked to the podium. A muse included seasoned veterans from world-renowned organizations. And then the name was called. The Journalist of the Year was Claire Rucastle-Brown, the founder of the Sarawak Report, and her collaborators at The Edge Malaysia. The very reporters who were once laughed at were now standing on the industry's biggest stage, receiving its highest honor. The standing ovation they received wasn't just polite applause. It was a profound acknowledgement of their incredible achievement. It was a message to every journalist in a small newsroom, in every corner of the world, that your work matters. This story is more than just a tale of journalistic triumph. It's a powerful lesson about perseverance, about believing in yourself when no one else does, and about the fundamental importance of a free and independent press. It proves that great journalism can come from anywhere. It's a reminder that sometimes the ones who are underestimated are the ones who change the world. They faced ridicule, but they answered with results. They were told they were out of their league, but they ended up defining the game. Their victory was a victory for every underdog, a testament to the fact that with enough determination, you can make the whole world listen. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about incredible people who dared to make a difference. Let us know in the comments what you think about the power of investigative journalism. Until next time, stay curious.